Rumors have a strange way of spreading fast, especially when someone who's always been consistent suddenly seems different. Fans of Larson Farms began noticing small changes. The uploads weren't quite the same, the energy felt quieter, and naturally, questions started flooding in. Did something happen to Chet Larson? Was he stepping away from YouTube? Or was there a deeper story no one was talking about? What many viewers didn't realize is that the truth wasn't hidden. It was just far more personal than anyone expected. Because behind the tractors, the harvests, and the everyday farm grind, Chet was navigating a life moment that would change him forever. Whispers started long before anyone addressed them directly. Loyal viewers, the kind who rarely miss an upload, began pointing out subtle shifts across Larson Farms. Videos appeared less frequently. When they did drop, the tone felt more measured, almost reflective. Even Chet himself seemed a little different. Not dramatically so, but enough for longtime followers to sense that something had changed. And when people notice change without explanation, speculation fills the gap. Online forums lit up with theories. Some wondered if the pressures of running a massive farming operation were finally catching up to him. Others guessed he might be stepping back from YouTube entirely. A few even suggested burnout. After all, balancing unpredictable farm seasons with filming isn't exactly a light workload. But here's the thing about rumors. They often grow louder the further they drift from reality. What many didn't see were the layers behind those quieter moments. The kind of personal weight that doesn't always belong on camera. Chet has never been someone to chase drama or turn his private life into headlines, which only made the silence feel more mysterious to outsiders. Still, one question lingered everywhere you looked. Were fans reading too much into small changes? Or was there truly something significant unfolding behind the scenes? As it turns out, the answer wasn't scandalous or sensational, but it was deeply real. Long before the speculation ever started, Chet Larson built his reputation on something incredibly simple, authenticity. While much of the internet leans toward polished edits and exaggerated personalities, Larson Farms felt like a breath of fresh air. What viewers saw was exactly what farm life looked like. Early mornings, dirt-covered equipment, unexpected breakdowns, and the non-stop pressure of working land that had been in the family for generations. That transparency is what pulled people in. Chet never tried to act like an entertainer first. If anything, he came across as a farmer who just happened to have a camera rolling. Whether he was racing incoming weather during planting season or troubleshooting machinery that refused to cooperate, the stakes were always real, and audiences could feel it. Over time, that honesty transformed casual viewers into a fiercely loyal community. People didn't just watch Larson Farms, they trusted it. Many even built weekly routines around new uploads, treating each video like a window into a world they rarely get to see, which is exactly why the changes didn't go unnoticed. When someone builds their platform on consistency, even the smallest shift stands out. Viewers weren't searching for drama, they were reacting to a pattern that suddenly felt different. But what most didn't understand yet was this. The foundation of Larson Farms hadn't cracked. Instead, life outside the camera was quietly rewriting the story. What many viewers didn't immediately connect was that the changes they were sensing had nothing to do with YouTube numbers, algorithms, or burnout. The real shift started off camera, in a place far removed from tractors and fields. Chet's personal life had entered a chapter no one ever plans for. Around this time, his wife Nicole was facing a serious medical battle. One that demanded time, energy, and emotional strength far beyond anything farming had ever required. Suddenly, priorities changed. Days weren't just measured by acres covered or repairs finished, but by appointments, updates, and waiting for news that could swing from hopeful to devastating without warning. For someone like Chet, who had always shared his work openly but guarded his private life carefully, this created a difficult balance. How much do you explain? What do you keep to yourself? And how do you keep showing up publicly when your world feels like it's shrinking? Viewers could sense the weight, even if they didn't know the details yet. The quieter tone, the slower pace, it wasn't disengagement. It was focus, survival. And while rumors kept circulating online, the truth was far simpler and far heavier than anyone guessed. Chet wasn't pulling away from his audience. He was holding together the most important part of his life. And what came next would finally bring clarity to everything people had been wondering about As concern quietly grew among viewers, the reality of the situation became impossible to ignore. Nicole wasn't facing a short-term setback. This was a relentless fight that tested every ounce of strength the Larson family had. Suddenly, the steady rhythm of farm life collided with hospital visits, difficult conversations, and the emotional strain of living in constant uncertainty. Yet, through it all, something remarkable happened. Support began pouring in from every direction. Messages flooded comment sections. Fellow farmers, subscribers, and even complete strangers reached out with encouragement. In moments like these, the agricultural community is known for closing ranks, and this time was no different. People weren't just watching Larson Farms anymore, and they were standing behind it. But even with that wave of support, the road was anything but predictable. Some updates carried cautious optimism, hinting that the battle might turn in their favor. Others were heavier, reminding everyone just how fragile hope can feel when the stakes are this high. For Chet, the challenge became more than emotional. Farming doesn't pause for personal hardship. Crops still demand attention, equipment still fails, and the seasons keep moving whether you're ready or not. He was living two lives at once, one rooted in responsibility, the other in uncertainty. And then came the moment that would silence the rumors for good, because the truth was finally too significant to misunderstand. When the update finally came, it answered every question at once and left an entire community stunned. Nicole passed away after her difficult battle, and in an instant, the speculation surrounding Larson Farms no longer mattered. The rumors faded into the background, replaced by a wave of heartbreak that could be felt far beyond the fields of western Minnesota. She was incredibly young, with a future that once seemed wide open. For viewers who had followed the family, even from a distance, the loss felt deeply personal. Nicole wasn't a constant presence on camera, but whenever she was mentioned, it was clear how central she was to Chet's world. And just like that, the subtle changes people had been noticing suddenly made sense. This wasn't about YouTube strategy or stepping away from the spotlight. It was about grief, the kind that reshapes your entire reality overnight, the kind that forces you to relearn what normal even looks like. Many quietly wondered what Chet would do next. Would he disappear from the channel? Take time away from the farm? Walk away from the public eye completely? Few would have questioned that decision. But what happened afterward is what truly shifted the conversation. Because instead of confirming the fears that Larson Farms might go dark, Chet made a choice that no rumor had predicted. For a brief stretch, Larson Farms grew noticeably quieter. Uploads slowed, the familiar rhythm viewers had come to expect softened, and an unspoken understanding settled over the audience. Chet was navigating something no schedule could accommodate. No dramatic statements were made, no lengthy explanations posted. Just a respectful distance, as if everyone instinctively knew this was a time for patience. Then, gradually, he returned. Not with forced smiles or manufactured energy, but with the same steady presence that had always defined him. If anything, there was a deeper seriousness behind his words, the kind that only comes from experiencing life-altering loss. Yet alongside that weight was something equally clear: commitment. The farm still needed tending. Generations of work didn't pause. Animals had to be cared for, fields prepared, equipment maintained. Showing up each day wasn't just responsibility anymore. It became part of the healing process. Viewers immediately noticed, and the respect for Chet seemed to grow overnight. He wasn't leaning into sympathy or turning hardship into content. Instead, he focused on the work, allowing resilience to speak louder than any explanation ever could. And in doing so, he unintentionally confirmed something the rumors had missed entirely. He wasn't stepping away from Larson Farms. He was protecting it, and the life he and Nicole had built with a quiet strength few people ever get to witness. As time moved forward, something subtle but powerful began to take shape. The heavy uncertainty that once surrounded Larson Farms slowly gave way to a new rhythm, one that felt steadier, more intentional. Longtime viewers started noticing small shifts. Not dramatic transformations, but quiet signs that Chet was learning how to carry both the farm and his loss at the same time. There were glimpses of lighter moments again. Conversations felt a touch more relaxed. The familiar determination that built Larson Farms seemed stronger, almost sharpened by everything he had endured. It wasn't about moving on, and viewers understood that. It looked more like learning how to move forward while honoring what could never be replaced. What stood out most was how naturally it all unfolded. There was no sudden reinvention, no attempt to rewrite the channel's identity. Chet stayed true to what people trusted from the beginning. Real farming, real challenges, real life, and the audience responded in kind. Support didn't fade after the initial wave of sympathy. If anything, the connection deepened. Many viewers began seeing Larson Farms as more than just agriculture content. It became a symbol of perseverance, proof that even after life delivers its hardest blows, purpose can still take root. By now, one thing had become undeniable. The rumors were never the real story. The real story was resilience, and it was still being written. Looking back now, it's almost surprising how quickly speculation once filled the silence. When people care about someone they watch regularly, even the smallest change can spark questions. But with time, the bigger picture came into focus, and it told a very different story than the rumors ever could. Chet never confirmed some dramatic secret or shocking scandal. Instead, what became clear was something far more human. He was adjusting to a life he never expected to navigate, while continuing to carry the responsibility of a multi-generation farm. That alone requires a level of mental toughness most people will never fully understand. What makes his journey stand out isn't loud declarations or emotional headlines. It's consistency. Season after season, video after video, he kept showing up. And in doing so, he quietly answered the questions viewers had been asking all along. The changes people noticed weren't signs of someone pulling away, they were signs of someone growing stronger. Today, Larson Farms still reflects the same values it always has: hard work, family legacy, and forward momentum. But now, there's an added layer: perspective. The understanding that behind every upload is a person choosing resilience, even on the difficult days. So if rumors once suggested uncertainty, the reality has revealed something much clearer. Chet didn't step back from the life he built. He stepped deeper into it. In the end, the rumors were never really about scandal. They were about change. And change can be uncomfortable, especially when it happens to someone people feel connected to. But Chet Larson's story reminds us that not every shift signals something falling apart. Sometimes it means someone is quietly rebuilding. Through loss, uncertainty, and the pressure of staying strong, he showed what real resilience looks like. No dramatic announcements, no attempts to chase sympathy, just steady progress, one season at a time. And maybe that's why his journey resonates with so many people. It reflects a truth we often forget. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's waking up, doing the work, and refusing to let hardship rewrite your purpose. So what did Chet Larson really confirm? Not the rumors, but the kind of perseverance that speaks louder than speculation ever could.